So, y'all, on my way to Greensboro, North Carolina, leaving Ohio, got a little bit of a ride on me. I wanted to get into this topic of 50-50, of this situation. It seems to, brew up heavy conversation, heavy opinions. Everybody has something to say about whether or not a man and a woman who are living together or married should be going 50-50. Now, I shared this post up on my Facebook, and I'm going to be paraphrasing the post. A woman said something to the effect of, at the time that her husband was to say something about paying half the bills, and she packing her bags and getting the fuck up out of there. Somebody replied to her and said, well, where are you going to go? You can't even afford half the rent. All right. Now, from that post, and all I said was thoughts. I just want to know what people thought. You have different varying comments, nothing that's varying from what you've seen. Anytime this conversation comes up, the man's role as a provider was paramount. That's what a man's supposed to do. Now, in my situation, in my lifetime, I've been on all three of the spectrums, all three of these situations, where I've lived with a woman and didn't pay anything. I've lived with a woman and we split things. I've lived with a woman and I did everything. I've done all three. I've been in my lifetime, I've done all three things. All right. And even when I was paying for everything, I never beat my chest about it. It was a matter of necessity. She was working, everything was cool, shit happened with the job, so boom, it became on me. And I did it, that I didn't think nothing about it. I know damn well I wasn't about to let myself get evicted out this motherfucker. Wasn't about to do that, wasn't about to be on the streets. So I just did what the fuck I felt like it had to be done. Didn't think anything about it. Didn't look at myself as no, great expert provider. Didn't think anything about it. It was a matter of necessity. Now, the comments that I see about this, that a lot of women make about this, where we have providing equals money, providing equals finances, providing equals what a man can bring monetarily. That's just what it is, apparently. My question that I always have is, okay, well, how were men providing before money? Right? I have an idea of how they provided. They went out into the woods, hunted, built shelter, and protected their woman, their family. That's what they did. That's when they wasn't hunting. Actually, the woman had to have some skills back then, because, hell, motherfucker might be in the woods for a month stalking a goddamn moose or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was providing then. What capitalism did, and this is real, what capitalism did is it turned providing into money. Simply money. And this idea has trickled down and really, to me, in my personal opinion, poisoned the minds of people. It's poisoned the minds of the people because providing became money. Not that you was willing to go and be in the woods for a fucking month to feed the family, that you have to make sure you stay employable or start your own business, which is, entrepreneurship is happening, or be a hustler or sell the dope. Because when we talk about providing, if it ain't no jobs, some men have turned to selling drugs and other things, robbing, thieving, whatever. Because we understand that poverty leads to a lot of these crimes. Whatever it takes, scamming, con man, whatever it takes, right? To provide. Cool. But that's what capitalism did. So now what's happening with capitalism, what capitalism did and how it trickled down into love and relationships is that now you have people out here that are tying their love into finances. And, I would argue that's not love at all. I would also get us to try to look at the fact that the number one cause of divorce is finances. That money run up, that money slow down, she might get the fuck up out of there. Now the thing that blows me about this is, well, you want a man to pay all the mortgage by himself. Let's say he does that. Y'all married, he does that. When the divorce come up, you asking for the house. Now that blows my mind. And like, you want a man that's gonna pay for the house, but if something happened, y'all end up getting divorced, you want the house. You didn't pay for it, but you still want it. You still feel entitled to it. That's your house, even though you put nothing into it as far as keeping the house, because you might have picked out the patterns, the goddamn paint, or what color you wanted the rooms, but the bank ain't gonna give a fuck about that. Well, it's my house. I painted the kitchen yellow. It's my favorite color. They gonna be like, bitch, if you don't get the fuck out of here, we need the money. That's how you keep a house, money. Not what you put into it and all this emotion. I put love into. The bank ain't gonna hear that. They're not gonna give a fuck about any of that love that you put into the house. How long you been there, you know. All that shit ain't gonna matter. It's gonna be about the money. Right? What I'm seeing is that, well, can romantic love, and the reason that y'all get married a lot of times is y'all say that it's love, which I would argue it can't be. I would argue that successful marriages don't even work where the baseline, the foundation is love. If it's a business, then fine. Man gonna go do the work, pay all the bills. Woman gonna take care of the house. Business. Cool. Masking that in love is flawed. In my personal opinion, it's flawed. Because I didn't have an issue paying the bills by myself. I would have had an issue if the woman would have came to me like, well, if you don't do this, I'm leaving you. At that moment, she might as well have just had left. She might as well have just got the fuck up out of there. Because it didn't have anything to do with me doing it, because I've done it and did it without even thinking about it. But a woman with that mindset, I have no interest in. That's just me. Just so well as a woman can say, well, a man is going to require me to pay half of any mortgage, I'm not interested in him. That's fine. I don't have an issue with that. If that's your expectation, then that's fine. But the way I look at this shit is, if a woman even thinks like that, I have no interest in her, because what that tells me is that if shit get rough, if shit get real out here, and I go through a downtime where shit might be harder, that bitch gonna be gone. And I want no parts of that. We talk about the fact that men are supposed to provide. Typically it's monetarily. Typically the conversation stays at money. It deals with money. And as we're sitting here defining the role of what a man's supposed to do, there's still a question as to, well, what are women supposed to be doing? If a man inherently is supposed to provide, and understand that this has been skewed due to capitalism, so a man is supposed to provide money, then what is a woman supposed to provide? Many would argue that a woman's supposed to do domesticated chores, take care of the house, the would-be house, right? Many women will rebel against the concept that they're supposed to take care of a house, that they're supposed to take care of the kids by themselves. They'll rebel against that idea. Feminism done came through here and completely changed that mentality, changed the mantra of sitting around allowing a man to provide for you. That's changed. So now the role of the woman is in flux. Because women don't know whether they want to sit around and be provided for and take care of a house, or be independent, or what. Don't need a man, need a man. It's a very confusing mindset. Because everybody wants something different. Now, I would argue that any relationship should do what works for you. What people be talking about don't really fucking matter. If somebody's interested in doing some 50-50 shit, cool. If somebody's interested in, them doing all the work, the woman sitting at the house, cool. Whatever. Some women ain't good with that, cool. Do what works for you. But when you're having these conversations and you're saying that you will not do this, that, or the other, cool. I personally am not interested in a woman who would have that narrative. Understanding, because that would mean to me that she doesn't understand capitalism, cost of living, the job market, that she doesn't understand how this shit works. She don't get it. And I don't want a woman who don't get it. I have no interest in a woman who don't get it. You see. None. Because this system created this. To where a man's value is only equal to the amount of money he can bring to the table. This system created this. That's how I look at it. This system has created that, and now it's affecting relationships, or, this has been passed down, of course, but it's affecting relationships, affecting love, romantic love. It can't be real. That's where I'm at with this shit. Every time I see these conversations had, I say that to myself, romantic love can't be real. And people get mad at me when I say that shit. When I compare it to the only love that's real is the love for a child. Your child, our children, have to provide nothing to us. Nothing. We still love them. That's love. That's real love. The rest of this shit that people be doing in their relationships is fickle. It's wishy-washy. And it comes with terms and conditions. A woman may make this her condition. I'm not paying no bills. Not that she can't pay no bills, but that she's just not. That's not her role. That's not her job. Now, again, I would argue that this came from capitalism, made this about money. And before that, the idea of so-called providing is some religious type of ideology. And we know people ain't following religious ideologies. Women for damn sure not following religious ideologies. Because if y'all read what y'all Bible say about y'all wouldn't even be Christians. I don't see how feminists can be Christian. That's a conversation for another day. But the Bible is very oppressive towards women. So you're not following the religious text and where you get the idea that men are supposed to provide from. You took that part, and that's cool. But y'all not following that book. Y'all know how y'all is about that book. You take the little bits and pieces that you like and then leave the rest of it by the wayside, right? Again, I reiterate, there's nothing wrong with a woman having this philosophy. Absolutely nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. She need to get with a man that matches that philosophy. Me, I wouldn't be with a woman who has that philosophy at all. Wouldn't be with her. Have no interest in her. That's me personally. Not that I wouldn't provide. Not that she couldn't sit at the house and I pay the bills. I've done it. Felt no type of way about it. Didn't feel less than. Didn't feel that she was inferior to me. Didn't treat her like she was inferior to me. Nothing. No riff in that area at all. But had she came out of her mouth and said, if you weren't doing this, I would be the fuck up out of here, then it wouldn't have been nothing for us to talk about. That'd have been it. You see. Understand, this conversation when it's had, you have to be open to let people have whatever opinion that they have. Because it's them. You don't got to deal with them. You don't have to deal with that. I'm not going to sit here and act like, well, all women thinking like this. Because they all don't. But there's a lot of women saying this shit about what men's supposed to provide. And the jury's still out on what a woman is supposed to provide. The jury's still out. We have not decided what a woman's supposed to provide. We don't know what she's supposed to do. From what I gather, Pussy. I mean, from what I gather. They don't want to pay the bills. They don't want to cook. They don't want to clean. That's 1920s or whatever. They don't want to do anything. But, ration you out some pussy every once in a while. That's it. That's all. It is what it is. But the jury's still out, so I can't wait for this to be clearly defined as to what are women supposed to be doing. What are they supposed to be doing? Other than sex. And from what I hear from married men, that's not even, And we have to understand this society, the way this world is set up. Having two incomes help build a home is better. It's just better. Because of how the cost of living continues to go up. Because of how things work. Because of the job market a lot of times. Folk got to be realistic. This fantasy that we're creating in our minds is leading us to having so many failed relationships. It just is. If your love now equals money, then you've been affected by capitalism. Because at one time, your man could go hunt for weeks. You didn't know whether that motherfucker was dead or not. Just gone hunting. And that's how he provided for his family. That's what he did. Women grew food around the house, gardens, things like that. Man brought back the meat. That's how he provided. It's before capitalism, before money. That was provided. Now it's money. And some people's fathers, they did that shit. I've seen many women tell me, hey, my mama didn't work a day in her damn life. My daddy did all the work. My mama didn't have to lift a finger as far as bills are concerned. And I think that's a big play. I think that's cool. And a lot of fathers would just tell a woman like, hey, I don't want you working. And that wasn't a woman telling him what she wasn't going to do. That was him telling her what he wanted to happen. Didn't have much to do with what she was talking about. Because whether she wanted to work or not, no, I don't want you working. I've heard it before. No, I don't want you working. And that's just what it was. I don't want you working, and therefore you're not going to work. It was him taking charge and control like that. And that's what it was. Not her being like, well, nigga, I'm not working. I'm not doing no type of motherfucking work. I'm not paying half these goddamn bills. If I have to do that shit, I'm leaving your ass. It wasn't that. Didn't have nothing to do with that. That wasn't how the conversation happened. That's how the conversation is happening now. And I won't hear it. Me, myself. I wouldn't be able to hear that shit. Not in respect of it. But y'all comment, let me know what the fuck y'all think, man. This conversation it's a big conversation that people are always out here having when it comes to this 50-50 and, that ain't your man, that's your roommate or whatever the fuck people be saying to try to disparage dudes that, live with women and the men and women that are doing it together like that to try to disparage those relationships. Understand, keep in mind, do what works for your relationship. You do what works for you. What functions for you. Listen to a whole bunch of other motherfuckers ain't never did much good to nobody anyway. So you do what works for you. If you know damn well to live the life that you want to live, that comfortable life, now if you got a man that's making, crazy $200K a year or whatever the fuck, then cool, you got you one of them, cool. But if you know you don't got you one of them, and y'all doing it together, don't feel bad. Don't feel like you have less of a man, because y'all doing it together and the love is real. Don't feel less than because of what these bitches out here talking about right now. Don't feel less than. Don't turn every one of these conversations into a war, which is what I also see. It becomes a whole war, and it's like, that shit ain't necessary. Motherfuckers arguing and fighting, don't know who the fuck the people are. Just arguing that shit online over what you do, what you believe in versus somebody else. Let them believe what the fuck they want to believe in. It's okay. We gotta get better about that. Be able to have a conversation without getting mad. It doesn't make any sense. Just starting a whole war over different ideologies. If a woman believes that she wants a man to pay for everything, hey, let her believe that. Then she'll get with a man that has the same ideology. She ain't gotta deal with you. Who may be like, well, shit, bitch, if you saying that, I ain't fucking with you. You think I'm gonna argue with a woman and say that? I'm not gonna argue about her beliefs. I'll just know, okay, well, never fucking with her. It is what it is, right? No harm, no foul. But y'all comment, let me know what y'all think. Or maybe some of y'all may be in this situation yourself. Where you and your wife do it, you and your woman, y'all do it together, and there's no problem, no issue. Or man just doing it by himself, no problem, no issue. Or hell, some of y'all, may got the woman doing all the bringing in all the money. No problem, no issue. Whatever situation you in. Whatever it is, comment. Let me know what the fuck y'all thinking about this shit. And this conversation is being had. Alright? That's all the fuck I want to say. Shout out to Team Rob. Y'all already know what the fuck it is. Black first, second, and third. I'm out.